Hey everybody, it's the Nitty Professor, and I'm here today to ask the burning question: what socks do you wear with your boots? Because I'm at a complete loss apart from the socks that I knit for my own feet. So I'll show you what I do, and we'll start here with these whites. These are, let's just call them the formal boots. An example of boots with a slimmer last that I use for generally, oh, there goes the piano. Paris is playing a melody again. Gonna wear these for, teaching in conferences, anything professional where I wanna look like I fit in with the Ivy Leaguers that I went to school with back in the day. And so I need a slimmer sock with this boot, something that doesn't occupy too much toe volume. So naturally for that, I'm gonna use a yarn like this. The yarn that I use for this is, calm down dogs, it's just a little bit thinner weight of sock yarn. Benny, don't rape each other. And you can literally, like, you can choose how many plies you want in the sock yarn that you buy. Come on dogs, come on. They're fighting over a ball. You can choose the thickness, so you can choose like a heavier weight sock yarn or a lighter weight sock yarn. This is definitely a lighter weight. Now, one of the disadvantages of this kind of yarn, which I should actually reinforce it, is sometimes the toes, it kind of wears through a little bit, so you can see a hole there. I definitely have to keep my toenails clipped because, yeah, that's a risk. As you can see too, the other thing about knitting my own socks is I can choose whatever the heck color I want. Doggies, they're playing with a tennis ball. And clearly, here I've chosen a very bold shade of lemon yellow, which I think, depending on what I wear with these boots, right, they go perfectly. Great, especially if I wear a brown pair of slacks over that. So that's one example. These boots are fantastic, by the way, extremely comfortable. However, I can't wear a sock with them that's too thick. So let's just check out another example, kind of similar, but a little bit different. These are, well, it looks like they're my mammouths, but I'm not even sure if I still have those. I think I do. It's a Swiss brand, and I used to use them for mowing the lawn until I discovered Hawthorne Muleskin or Iron Rangers. But these are a pair of Parker's boots, and again, you can tell it's kind of a similar boot, right? It's a similar last, so it's just a little bit slimmer. We've got your day-night soles here, the thinner laces, the hardware. It's like smaller holes, smaller everything. It's just a little bit more refined. And again, I can't wear the thickest kind of sock with these. There's Paris. Hey, Paris. So I'll show you a pair that I would be inclined to wear with these. It's a similar yarn. I think this is the Madeline Tosh. I can't swear to it. But again, it's just a thinner yarn. This sock yarn is wool. Hey, come here, doggies. Reinforced with nylon. So I get the strength with a 25% nylon reinforcement. I am in the process of slowly being converted to 100% wool yarn. I've been told that if it's twisted right, so it has to be really twisted quite severely or extremely, then you can also combine that with the properties that allow wool to felt and use 100% wool sock yarn. Of course, before nylon, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, that's all people had, right? They knit all of their socks out of wool. So that wasn't anything that they struggled with. Hey, Paris. And here's another advantage of wool. I think this is one of the things that I find is a huge benefit. It is a natural disinfectant. So if you have trouble with like foot odor or something like that, you can wear wool socks and it's just not going to be an issue because number one, it has tremendous wicking properties because it can absorb a ton of moisture because of the nature of the fiber, but it also gets rid of odors. It's just the way wool is. Wool has all these really cool properties, and that's why it's such a sought after material when it comes to socks. So again, I think, see a pair of breeze here. It looks pretty good. I could wear this with like black slacks or something like that. Maybe even maybe a olive green or a navy blue. Olive green would look cool, be very Christmassy. So that's a couple of examples of your slimmer fitting boot, and how I managed that by knitting socks from a particular weight of yarn that would be a bit thinner. I probably should play more with the reinforcement that I use. There is a special thread that you can use when you knit socks that will help the toe and heel keep longer. I also need to work on my darning skills, which is another way. It's like shoe repair. You can repair your socks too. And I fully intend to learn how to do that, because with a couple of my pairs, I'm getting to the point where that's what I need. So what about a more robust boot like these Trumans? This is the oil tanned Roughout, a cap toe. These boots are really good for winter as long as it's not slushy. They do absorb wet. But otherwise, they're extremely comfortable, extremely tough. They have a very roomy toe box. There's plenty of room for my foot in here, and I can easily enjoy a thicker, more cushioned sock, which is what I would typically do. I choose the sock yarn, and consequently the socks that I make out of that yarn, based on the boots I want to wear. So this is some British wool that I got. This is a sock yarn, and this is just a heavier, thicker, more robust, sturdier blend. There goes Paris again, getting into the hey. The tennis ball isn't worth you all lacerating each other over it. And I don't know, I mean, if I hold these up, you can almost sort of tell just by looking at the two in the camera. This sock over here is it's a bit of a woolier type of construction to the yarn. The yarn has a bit more of a halo to it. It's a little thicker, whereas here it's just thinner. So, you know, I can just make really carefully calibrated decisions on what kind of socks I want to wear with the boots. Hey. They really sound dumb, don't they? I mean, dogs, they just, the lives that they live, they're like so blessed. I mean, everything is just given to them, and then they act like idiots all day long, and then you feed them again. It's just, what a life, right? So anyhow, perfect pairing. And these socks, they absorb even more moisture because they're thicker. They are even more cushiony because they're thicker. They hold up longer because they're thicker. So I do get a ton of use out of a pair of socks like this. Let me show you another pair. This pair is an even thicker sock yarn. And again, I get to pick whatever color I want, because sock yarn comes in so many colors. It comes in all the colors. It comes in all kinds of striping patterns. You can even do two-stranded color work socks. You can make the socks look however you want. You can make them as thick as you want, as sturdy as you want. You can have nylon in them. You have silk in them. You can have cashmere in them. You can have alpaca. You know, all the yarns are out there. All you have to do is have the know-how. In fact, in my novel, I have, I'm trying to introduce diversity in the knitting world. So I have some sort of, you know, hiking, camping type rugged males out there, not only knitting, but talking about making a career out of it, because I feel like there's probably an untapped market of survivalists who's like, yeah, I would knit my own socks. I could choose really sturdy wool, use whatever color I want. They're going to hold up great. They're going to be disinfecting. They're going to absorb my sweat. They're just so wonderful and perfect. Can I get them made by machine? Maybe for a pretty penny, but then I'm stuck with brown, gray, you know, just a very few colors. So that's the kind of sock I would wear with those Trumans. And I'll show you one more example while Paris destroys my bag of socks. And these are I've been showing you these boots fairly often lately because they have just turned into the most incredibly versatile, useful, comfortable boots. And these are the dark Coyote Roughouts. You can see they're taking a beating because guess what? I wear them like every other day this winter. And again, it's this is the 79 Last from Truman. It's very roomy. It's got a nice sized toe box. Doggies, hey. One of these days I'll do another short of them just cutting up. People like to watch that kind of thing. It kind of puts a smile on their face. But in any case, these are a very versatile boot, even from the standpoint of the color. But they're just so rugged and rough. And this is another great pair of socks. In fact, these, man, they look so good. I mean, come on, you know, you're never going to find these in a hunting store. But I can pick out this yarn in Coeur d'Alene, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And it's made by Trilogy. And it's, again, It's not quite as thick as this peacock colored yarn, which is these are the thickest socks I own, I think, but it's fairly close. And you know, I just picked the pair of socks based on the boots. Now Paris is in my bag. And here's another example of, this is sort of a moderately weighted sock yarn, but the colors are so much fun, and I can pick the yarn based on the outfits I want to wear. I can, you know, like if I have a flannel shirt that has a little turquoise and pink or purple in it, I can put these socks with it, or I could put these socks with like a gray shirt or whatever. Here's a pair of, sometimes I just need black. Sometimes I do need a neutral color, but guess what? I can find that neutral color. I can get that yarn. These are a bit thinner. These I tend to wear with the black boots that I use for my orchestra and band concerts. And they're plenty black enough to be up on stage. I can wear my black, whites, cap toe, stitching, what's it called, brogued boots, or my, now I have a pair of really nice looking Wolverine 1,000 Miles that are black and a cap toe. And I can wear those on stage. They look great. Or here's something else I can do. I can pick any kind of wool and I can make a short sock out of it. So if I need these, for example, in the summer, if I need to wear my desert boots from Clark's, then these will go perfectly. Again, they're wool and they're insulating. So wool is also really cool because there's sort of a myth about, oh, you're going to get hot in wool in the summer. Well, wool is insulating, so it keeps out cold, but guess what? It also keeps out hot. So I can wear a pair of socks like this all day long in the 90-degree heat, and my feet are going to sweat and they're going to feel cool in there because the wool wicks the sweat and traps it. And then also it works as a deodorant and a disinfectant, and I have zero problem with odors in my boots. So as far as like store-bought, you know, I own a few pair of wool socks, and I have like cotton socks, and I'm just like, my cat's in the bag here, so it's pretty funny. So like, would you wear, these are some Nike cotton socks, 75% cotton, I think. And I'll tell you the struggle I have with these. So these have like a arch support kind of thing. Sometimes I feel like it's too much. The ribbed at the top, these are like hemmed at the top, and here I find that it just chokes my leg. I remember before I had all these hand-knit socks that I used to wear, I went to Budapest with my boot-loving son, and I was wearing socks like this with some Clarks that were like the cheaper kind of Clarks, and I got what's called the Disney rash because I was literally cutting off my circulation with socks like this. And even so, this is a pair of gold toe. They're a little thicker. Like, I could imagine somebody would wear these with boots, but again, there's a lot of cotton in here. They're just going to get soaked. And this top, it just kind of, it nails me. It's way too tight. It cuts off my circulation. Whereas when I knit my own socks, I use Jenny's stretchy bind off. So the bind off is loose. At the top here, it's deliberately loose. But since I actually rib my socks all the way down the shank, I have zero problems. They're never going to fall because this ribbing is stretchy, but also it holds on to your leg. So they're just the most comfortable things in the world, and I don't understand what the alternative is. Here's some wool socks. I think I might have bought these on a whim. I was with my son. He wears store-bought socks, wool socks, and he's like pretty happy with what he has, which is great. I still need to knit him some socks, so let's be just honest about that. I am a negligent mother. Sorry, Culver, I really need to knit you some socks. But again, we have the same problem here with this. It's turned and hemmed, and it's just, this is like fairly elastic at the top, but not like these babies are. I mean, there's just, the top of these, it's like they open out up towards your leg, and we don't have that going on here. So machines apparently can't knit Jenny's stretchy bind off. That is a huge disadvantage if you ask me. So I think these socks are like good enough. If I wanted, like, maybe I was gonna get some chemical on the socks or something like that, I'm like, well, I didn't hand knit these, so I'll trash them. It doesn't matter. I try not to trash the ones that I hand knit because they do take a while. Let's just admit, they take a while to knit. I'm not even sure if these are wigwam or what these are. My son swears by darn tough. Here's another pair of socks I have. These are very vintage. They're wool. They probably have some nylon or something stretchy in there. And they're really thick. I don't even know if I have a pair of boots that I could wear with these because they're like so thick. And also the foot's a little short. I probably got these at a ski shop or something like that back in the day. I think they're really old, and I hardly ever wear them, and to be honest, I probably should give them away. Not sure why I keep them, but they are wool. They're just so thick though. When I even when I compare them with like these peacock ones, to me, this is like super thick. And it's got that nylon in there, so it's also sturdy. But in comparison, these are like almost like they could be slippers. They're so thick and heavy. So I'm not sure what the point of that is. Maybe if you're wearing them inside a ski boot, something like that. And I have this pair. Also got them quite a while back. They're kind of cute, but again, the top, I just can't stretch it. I don't know. They won't stretch. That's just the bottom line. So they have a similar construction to mine. They might be 100% wool. I'm not even sure. You can see I've worn them some. I probably wore them in some snow boots. You can see wearing them in snow boots. So maybe that's why they're still hanging around in my drawer. But in any case, I would be really curious. I'm not sure why more Americans don't knit their socks. I guess we're always overworked. I've heard of people managing stores, doggies. They're like working 100 hours a week. And, in Europe, people work 36, 37 hours a week, sometimes 35. They definitely have much more of a leisure type of culture, which I think is the way it should be. You only have one life. Like, why, you're going to slave away your whole life. I like work as much as the next person, but I don't want to do it 100 hours a week. Maybe 50. 50, I'm good. But in any case, those of you, you're like me, you have these beautiful boots. What the heck socks do you wear with them? I'm really curious. Do you use Darn Tough too, or you just wing it and put on the cotton Nike socks, or do you maybe knit your own socks as well? Personally, I recommend that everybody learn to knit their own socks. Yes, it's time consuming, but it's also really, really relaxing. You can do it during meetings. You can do it on the plane. You can do it when you're waiting at the doctor's office. You can do it almost anywhere because it's like small and compact. And then you come out and you've got, this, and not only are you protected, you don't have stinky feet, you're very comfortable, and you look super fashionable. So on that note, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and please share in the comments what solution you have for the sock conundrum with your heritage boots. I appreciate it. Take care. Bye.